Hello everybody, today I'm going to be going over TryHackme's operating system security, which is part of TryHackme's Introduction to Cybersecurity module. This is going to be more of a demonstration than an explanation, however I will go through the tasks briefly just to kind of give you an idea about what they're about. So let's go ahead and hop right into task 1, which is Introduction to Operating System Security. So let's go ahead and jump right into task 1, which is Introduction to Operating System Security. This task just talks about what an operating system is and what the differences between software and hardware are, and also talks about the CIA triad, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and it talks about what those are. Again, I'm going to let this be something that you go through on your own, as I like to demonstrate more than I do explaining. So let's hop right into the questions. Which of the following is not an operating system? And it lists these possibilities here. Just from personal knowledge, I know that it is Thunderbird. Alright, and moving on to task 2, common examples of operating system security. This task focuses on authentication and weak passwords, and this just talks about what authentication is, and it gives some examples of some of the most common passwords that are used, and we're going to actually reference back to this when we do the questions in task 3. Going down, it also talks about weak file permissions and talks about the principle of least privilege, which is just making sure that people have only the permissions they need to get their work done, nothing more. And it also talks about malicious programs such as Trojan horses and ransomware. Moving on to the questions, which of the following is a strong password in your opinion? At first glance, you might think it's this one. However, there's no capital letters in this. And looking through all these, we can see that this one has a capital letter, lowercase letters, and numbers. This only has lowercase, this only has lowercase, and while this has lowercase and numbers, it does not have uppercase, so it's going to be this one. Alright, and moving on to task 3, practical example of operating system security. So go ahead and start the machine and also start the attack box. Alrighty, it looks like it is all booted up. So let's go ahead and scroll and see what we need to do. So in this task, in one typical attack, the attacker seeks to gain access to a remote system. We can accomplish this attack by tricking the target into running a malicious file or by obtaining a username and a password. We will focus on the latter, so obtaining a username and password. After discovering a username, we will try to guess the password. Furthermore, we will try to escalate our privileges to a system administrator. This account is called root on Android, Apple, and Linux systems, while on Microsoft Windows systems, this account is called administrator. The accounts root and administrator, Linux and Windows respectively, have complete unrestricted access to a system. In this task, we will try to hack into a Linux system. We assume that you've never been in a Linux system before, and we will explain accordingly. And here it just kind of goes over starting the attack box. And it looks like these are the commands that we are going to be reviewing throughout this task. We were hired to check the security of a certain company. When we visited our client's office, we noticed a sticky note with 2 words, Sammy and Dragon, on one of the screens. Let's see if Dragon is Sammy's password on the target machine. And then here's the IP. And this IP is going to be different for you. If you scroll up, this is what that IP is going to be. This is the box that we are attacking. Alright, from the attack box terminal, we will try to log into Sammy's account by executing this command. This command allows us to SSH into another computer, so it's using Secure Shell. And if you don't know what that is, that's A-OK. Moving on, the remote system will ask you to provide Sammy's password, Dragon. The interaction on the attack box terminal is shown below, so this is just showing what it looks like. But we're going to go ahead and do it ourselves, so I'm going to open up a terminal here, and I'm going to do SSH Sammy at 10.10.51.190, and again, that IP is going to be different for you if you're following along. Press enter, type in yes, press enter again, and we're going to type in the password, which is Dragon. And as we can see, we have access to Sammy's profile now. And we can confirm that we are logged in as Sammy by doing who am I? Sammy. Cool. Now it wants us to list the directory using the ls command, which is short for list. And we can see that we have a couple of files inside of this directory. And next it teaches us about the cat command, which is short for concatenate. And this command will print the contents of the file that you use it on the screen. I'm going to use it on country.txt just because that's the first one. So we would do a cat country.txt. And the only thing inside of that file is UK. So I guess that is the country. And scrolling back down, we'll now cover the command history. So if you just type in history, this will give you a list of all the commands used under Sammy's profile since it started capturing them. Alright, we have learned about 2 other usernames that can access the attached machine. So this probably means that we might have just found another sticky note with them. I don't see any other user being accessed here in this list of history commands, so in this case we're just going to use the information that they give us. And it says here that we know that both of these users have little regard for cybersecurity best practices, and we can use several ways to guess the passwords for these 2 users. There are 2 approaches. If you're not logged in as Sammy or any other user, you can use SSH Johnny and then that IP, which is the box that we're attacking again. We are logged in as Sammy. Remember, we can see it right here, and we can also see it using the whoami command that we demonstrated earlier. So we are logged in as Sammy, so we're going to have to use a second option, which is SU for switch user dash Johnny. And we can manually try one password after the next to see which password works for Johnny. Going on to the questions, based on the top 7 passwords, let's try to find Johnny's password. What is the password for the user Johnny? So it's saying based on the top 7 passwords. So if we scroll back up to that list of passwords, we can see that it should be here within the top 7. So we would brute force this. We would essentially go through one by one. So going to the terminal, we go SU for switch user or substitute user dash Johnny, enter. And it's asking us for the password, so we're going to try the first one, 1 2 3 4 5 6. And it did not work. So from this point, we would just try the next one after repeating that command. However, just because I already know what it is and I want to save everyone's time, we're just going to do the up arrow, press enter again, and we're going to type in ABC123, enter. And we can see that it is switched from Sammy over to Johnny, and we can confirm that it's on Johnny's by doing a whoami. We're signed in as Johnny now. So we know that that password is ABC123. Once you're logged in as Johnny, you can use the command history to check the commands that Johnny has typed. So history, I can't spell. We expect Johnny to have mistakenly typed the root password instead of a command. What is the root password? So let's look through and see what he's kind of typed. We see here he's trying to switch user to root, and it looks like he actually accidentally put this in. This looks like a password to me, so I'm going to highlight it and do copy. And let's paste that in there. Whoops, did not copy the right thing. Alright, so we know that that's the password, so we are going to switch user. Going on to the next one, it says, while logged in as Johnny, use the command su-root to switch to the root account. So su-root. And we're going to put that password again, HAPPY, capital H, A-C-K, exclamation, N-G. N-G are capital. And we have switched over to root, and we can confirm by doing a whoami. We are root. Now it wants us to display the contents of the file flag.txt in the root directory. So we're going to go back and use that ls command, which is for list. And we can see that inside of this directory, we see a flag.txt. So we are going to use the cat command to open up that text file and display what's inside. And it looks like thm you got root is what's displayed. So I'm going to copy that and paste it. Doesn't look like it pasted. So we are going to use this clipboard to copy and paste it and submit. And there we go. We have finished the room. I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, this was supposed to be more of a demonstration than an explanation. I highly suggest going through the room on your own, and I am going to link the room in the description below. Like if you like, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Have a good one.